Good evening. You're listening live to the Extreme Movie Show. I am your host, Rob, broadcasting to you from the Pineless Palace just west of Orlando, Florida. From the Great Midwest, RDV is joining me tonight in the Extreme Studio so we can review our continuing coverage of Landman Season 2 episode. I believe
Yep.
this is 5, sir. Pirate Dinner. A pretty shitty title, but it makes sense and actually is kind of fun. We've talked about a couple things here, RDV, about some of the shows we've reviewed, like Tulsa King and some others I've done with RD or with Professor Pixel, the young 20-something guy that you and I don't do. And one of the things that frustrates me about watching television shows is sometimes they don't go where you want them to go, or they just feel like they're written and directed by somebody different, which is exactly what we get in most of them, right? It's by committing. You don't get any sense of continuity to it. And I got to tell you, I feel like season 2 so far of Landman has been better than season 1, even though I thought it was very solid. I think that's in large part due to the fact we have I think it was maybe 1 or 2 writers and maybe like 1 director. So we know what kind of shots we're going to
Yeah.
get. We're going to see a certain thing to it. There's a certain familiarity with it to it. And that allows us to feel comfortable because we don't know what's going to happen to each scene. And I was thinking of this today while watching the episode, because last week you really commented heavily on some of the cinematography that you like, and it's very particular. So even though cinematography, okay, this is going to be somewhat serious or whatever with the tone and all that, you're really going, okay, now I can just focus on the characters because, man, these women are hot. There's a lot of great stuff going on here. Honestly, I hate to say it, this felt like a wholesome episode, not like a bitchy episode, and there's very few flaws in this one here. It's very solid, very meaty. Things are definitely marinating before it gets really spicy as it goes. What's your initial take on this episode?
Yeah, like I said, this show has been consistently good. You have the same director, same writer, so it's easy to blame somebody. If it's not the same, if it's not the same director, so it's a quality show, dips and goes up and stuff because you may like a certain writer, and then that writer leaves, and then they have to try and a lot of times writers, even though they have a writing like a group, stuff like a table, but sometimes like writers are like, well, you just put me in a fucking corner, and you might have the other writer's a better writer than the other writer, so he's struggling to trying to continue the story, trying to figure out how to do it. And then plus, remember, everybody wants to last minute changes. Well, I don't like this scene. Let's change this scene.
Right.
Yeah. So it's like the writer, I can't really blame the writer these days anymore because I think the director has really changed the scenery, the writing. So
Exactly.
the episode goes through like 15 to 20 different changes as they're filming. So,
well, let me ask you a question about this though.
Go ahead.
With what you're talking about here. We're 5 episodes in right now, right?
Yes.
How much has really happened in five episodes?
Well,
not a lot, really.
We introduced the bad guy. We got a recap. We've had some things are finally coming to a head. They're kind of just a little build, which I want to agree. I want to say that because that is a really good contrast compared to Tulsa King, the other Taylor Sheridan show with Stallone. We had different writers, different directors, and it just felt like it was more relaxed. We're kind of bringing you up to as far as what's gonna be the finale, and it's kind of wondering like, is it? We've had the words the FBI mentioned several times here by Tommy. Cartel. There's a lot of problems that are just spiraling out. This episode is called Pirate Dinner, but the whole episode is about piracy. We had Monty, who was basically embezzling his money, and basically, would sell off property and then rebuy it because he's investing in this insurance company and stuff, and then just repurchase it. $400 million he was embezzling, and it was just struggling to keep going, and they need $400 million. And the big problem is that it's really basically bringing it up to what this episode is going to be. It's going to be, you're going to have, Tommy's going to be forced to work with Andy Garcia's character because Andy Garcia's character, Galino, has the $400,000, what they need, because if they don't, if 45 days, because you had Kayla Wallace, aka Rebecca, and then you had Colm Feore, Nathan, both went to go meet with the insurance company about the rig thing, and they said no, you came here a hot shot. This time, no, you only have 45 days. We're not, and if you don't do that, we're gonna go against DA. We're gonna go after you guys for embezzlement and all stuff, and because this is all shady. And it was the first time I've actually seen kind of her like her kind of shut up a little bit. Now I'm wondering. See, I was thinking when they first walked in this room, because remember we had that guy she's hooked up with the other episode. I was expecting him to be at the table showing up and like, oh, hi, awkward stuff. I'm glad they didn't do that, because that's a really stupid trope. It always happens. I'm hoping he shows up later down the road, or who knows, maybe he's just a throwaway character. Maybe it was a herring to make you think it was going to have repercussions. But anyway, so she's off her game. She's been off her game, and now, and then here's the problem now with this whole entire episode, and what's really happening for Tommy. It's not Tommy's being put in the corner he doesn't want to be in too. He's also got people not telling him about problems. He had the gas leak. He has no idea about it. Anything that happened about it. So he's like, "What the fuck? Why didn't anybody tell me about this?" And then the guy with the accident, the guy with the suicide, he goes to meet with the sheriff, and he says, "What the heck?" He goes down there. He says, "Look, well, there's a hose going from the guy's muffler into his truck."
Yeah.
And he's like, "Are you freaking kidding me?" So the guy committed suicide, on our property, and what, he's like, "Use your truck." Well, he didn't have permission to use our truck. So it's like, and I know how Tommy's able to weasel his way out of it. He's like, well, the sheriff's like, well, he was reckless, using 60 miles per hour. He's like, I'll put a fucking wheel on the road. I'll put a 60 mile if I want to on here. That's not the issue, So I love how Tommy's able to navigate around it. But the problem is that Tommy's battling 4 or 5 different things that's going on. His dad is back in his life again. His dad, TL, is living at home with him. And he's stressed out about that. He's got to go meet with Cammy, call a meeting ahead, and Cammy, and he says, "Cammy, we can't take the money because why? Because it's he basically confessed to her what happened to him last year. He made some deals with the cartel under him with Monty, and they end up reneging the deal and wanted to change it. They can kidnap him and put a freaking nail in his thigh. He said, and then who comes up? Galeno. Galeno shoots the guy. He's like, "Oh, yeah, what's the problem?" Galeno's the head of the cartel. It's his cartel. And she's, "Well, we're already in dirty with them. Who cares?" He's like, "Well, the problem is that the feds are going to say, hey, you guys are their money laundering thing. $400,000? Are you freaking kidding me?" So like, and Cammy's like, "Well, it's my company." And I'm like, he's like, and then there, yeah, and she's kind of like, she gets very emotional too. I love this because she's still grieving. She's like, hey, if you're going to, call a meeting next time, you bring the meeting comes to me. I don't go to you. I'm the one in charge. It's my company.
Yeah, that was the pissing contest thing,
Sure. No, but honestly, I don't hate her for that, because she is also floundering. She doesn't know what to do. She just listed her mansion, there's no money. She's still grieving, and her husband left this giant mess. So, and you're gonna see her, like I said, in the first episode. We really liked how she took control of that boardroom, the room, the banquet room, and put everybody in their spots. This is her kind of like growing up a little bit. But the problem is that there are going to be issues with the cartel. And if it's not the cartel, I really think it's going to be the FBI. And I really don't want to go through the FBI thing, because you know why? Because freaking Tulsa King put a freaking bad flavor in my mouth with all the FBI nonsense.
I think with her, honestly, I think it was one of the most disappointing scenes to me in the episode, because we got used to her being off strong. We got used to seeing her grieving. They've done a very good job of her, and we even talked about how much we like Demi Moore being strong. She does a really good job in those roles. So I thought her acting has been not subdued, but just perfect, right on point. So, and then here, what I think it is we saw in the last episode, we saw her meeting with the cartel guy, Andy Garcia, talking over stuff and numbers and everything. So here's what I'm thinking, and this sounds sexist, and I don't give a rat's ass. I think what it is you're right. She's grieving. Let's not forget that, right? They do a great job of letting us know that that's a big part of this thing. And we still don't know the mystery of where the money went, what happened, even though we got supposedly some explanations of how things go and how they're held with LLCs and tax consequences and all circular finance of that stuff. Exactly, right?
Yeah, a super shell game.
To me, she's like a woman in the sense that no matter what, she went with what she felt. Because from day one, we saw, especially that her first debut was so strong. Yes. But remember, he told her basically, "Hey, look, you got to think about what's going on here," and explains to her whatever. So she goes up there and kicks everybody's ass, whereas a bit of a bluff, which is a great way to start. the point is their relationship is built on the let's think about it and come up with a plan before reacting to a situation.
Mhm.
But she got the tinglies in the feels, not in a sexual sort of way, but here's a guy named Andy Garcia that's very well composed. And what he does is a great job. There's a couple ways of selling. Some people are just dumb. They can say, here, I'll do that for you. Just say blah, blah, blah. And you say, okay, why not? He doesn't do that, especially with women. With men, he's demanding. With women, he just explains stuff, talks about how they're doing, and he lets them bring up the business. And that was the genius part of watching Andy and her have the interaction, because that's marinated in the back of her brain now. Because now she's like, well, wait a minute, I don't really have a plan. I found out more of the shit. I'm feeling worse about it. So damn it, I'm going to take a course of action, even though it's the wrong one, because that's better than not thinking of what the right one might be or giving it enough time to gel. And that's the beauty of the scene.
Honestly, yeah. And the scene where I have the background now that shows here, the background, this is my alternate thumbnail I was thinking about doing. Because when he has to go meet with Andy Garcia and explain it, hey, we our company, Texas Oil, whatever, Cat Texas Oil, we bought the remaining leases and all off, and so when we don't need you, we're gonna pay it off. We don't want to do it whatsoever. So this is before he even has the meeting with Cammy and the rest of them.
Yep.
And I love this because he's just sitting there playing golf. And I love it. And it's I was like, why does he got 3 golf balls? Because he is the guy who's been guiding their lives. Cammy, his own life, and Tommy's.
Oh, I didn't think of it that way.
Putting it. He kept sinking it in. Hole one. And I kept thinking like,
RDV, stop for a second. Listen.
Yeah.
I'm applauding you. Nice. That's good. I like that. I don't know where you stole it from or if you came up with it on your own, but it's good stuff.
No, there's no one to steal it from.
Hey, wait a minute. Didn't you say that I was psychoanalyzing? Now you are. This is awesome.
Yes. But I kept thinking about it's like,
that's rich.
He's like the kingpin. He says you're gonna need my help regardless. You'll come back to it. And Cammy wants to make a deal. And it's like, but I will not force anybody into a deal. And he says, like, whether you like it, Tommy, we're the same, pretty much. We're, and just, I'm just loving this. Because Andy Garcia's character, Galeno, is just very laid back. He gets a little insulted, but he's saying, but Tommy, starts yelling at him. He's like, it's like, oh, your money's freaking dirty. You're all drug money. It's like, you're a gangster. And like, of course, it's like, we don't trust you. It's like, we don't need your money. We don't need the FBI breathing down our necks and stuff. And he's like, it's like, Tommy, if you're going to yell at me, please have the courtesy to close the door so that other people don't hear you yelling. But yeah, I love that. Because I kept thinking, he kept hitting the ball. He just casually putted, and he had 3 golf balls. Like, why do you have 3 golf balls?
Yeah.
But I mean, maybe that's a normal thing people do with the putter thing. I don't have the indoor putter thing. But I just thought this was such a cool little scene of him, and this bro, I'm navigating everything for everyone here. And it's like, hey, come with me. I'm the pirate. I'll navigate you through these rough waters. See, the piracy, the pirate thing, it's all coming through. The whole title, and then let's have dinner together, But the reason it's called Pirate Dinner is because Angela wants to throw a welcoming dinner for TL, and she asks TL, "What do you like?" And she's like, I love the way she asks TL. She goes out, he's out on the patio and stuff. He's like, TL, if you had one final meal, you're about to be educated. Like, what would you do? He's like, what the fuck? He's like, no, because if I ask you what's your favorite meal, then you're indecisive, And he says, well, I like blue lobster and all that stuff. So he said, great, we're gonna do this.
He's got that great rich voice, and he goes, I remember the best meal I had was some sea blah blah, and you're like, all right, I'm listening to this.
Yeah, exactly.
This is sweet in a hokey sort of way.
I love you. Yeah. So you listen. Yeah, what you said, like he's got that sweet voice. You listen to it because after she leaves, because her and Ainsley go to the nursing home, and they're basically she lied to the nursing home saying it's her birthday. So, but she's like, they all wanted to do this anyway, so they all have a little party thing. And she ends up getting sex toys from all the people at the nursing home because apparently they found the dirty channel.
That's what old people do. They don't, but they got nothing else to do, especially in the nursing home.
She's like, the nursing's like, yeah, they discovered there's more channels past 300. It's like, so they're all. Anyway, so, well, we have TL stuck at home. He ends up calling, talking to what's his name, Thomas or Tommy, whoever, basically. And he asks, he's like, dude, I'm locked out. He's like, well, and Tommy's like, well, do you try doing the thing? He's like, I fucking know how to open a goddamn door. It's 8 years old. He's like, well, there's a key under a frog over by the mulch over here. He's like, okay. Little thing. And so he hangs up the phone, and he kind of, I love how Sam Elliott, he's kind of walking because he has issues walking in the security does. So
I don't know if that's how he is physically, because I think he's in his 80s now.
Well, he's 80.
And he's looking frail, bro.
He's 80 years old. So he walks over the thing, and then we have Shelby over there, Ainsley's friend over there, who's suntanning, comes over, and she's like purposely showing off herself to the old man. I thought that was kind of hilarious. And they start talking. He's like, I once had a Shelby. It was a car. It's like, oh, it's like, do you still have it? He's like, I don't have anything, sweetheart. And just like, because it's a casual little bit of flirting from her. She was flirting a little bit with him.
Well, yeah.
She's like, I love your voice. She says your voice, so you could be the movie man, trailer guy. And he's like, do I look like I have a second career in me? But yeah.
Look,
so
she gets invited to the dinner
yes,
later, and if they hadn't brought her up, I'd already forgotten about her. I was like, she's a hot
and
friend.
I keep forgetting. You know who that is, right? The actress is, right?
No,
it's Tim McGraw's daughter.
Oh, okay.
Faith Hill's daughter. That's why she's a little hottie.
I see.
Yeah, and she's only 24 compared to Michelle Randolph, who is like 29.
Who looks like 19, going on 17. Oh my God, the outfit she wears in here and a mom, it's too sexy. It's distracting. It's
the corset, the little white tough, like a little skirt.
That is. I mean, that's like every white boy's fantasy right there, right?
Yeah.
I'm being honest. I'm just saying it's distracting.
So Cooper has a sit down with his dad in the beginning of this episode. They meet at the Patch cafe, and he says he's like, Cooper, you don't have any money. He's like, he's like, well, I'm just waiting on a check. He's like, hey, send me a check. He's like, and he said, because Nate had basically gave Tommy this paper. He's like, I don't know why this company sent it. It was basically Galeno had sent papers to Tommy's, or no, not Tommy. No, it was Galeno. It was the people who are working for because he asked him, like, Tommy asked Cooper, how did you get all those people who work for you? He's like, oh, it's like, it said my name, and like, oh, that explains all the invoices I got for their pay and all that stuff.
Seems to match up.
Yeah. And he's like, you fucking use my name and all, it's like, you don't understand it. You are great when it comes to finding stuff. But you're broke. You have nothing. And you're going to be in debt. So as I said, we're buying off your leases. And then because Nate said to Tommy, it's like, you can't be president and landman. So we're seeing Cooper being offered the job as a landman, working under Tommy.
Mm-hmm.
And I like this because it's not only is the father's son with TL and Tommy mending, we're seeing Cooper and Tommy's relationship mending.
Well, here one thing about here that I will say this. I said I feel like this has been a great season 2. Not a lot's really happening. Sometimes, like a Tulsa King, depending maybe on the writing or whatever, it felt like a filler episode.
Yeah.
Like you take it, it didn't affect anything for the season. Okay, that happens. I do like these little side things or whatever because I get intrigued seeing an 80-year-old talking with a 20-year-old girl, right? In terms of character. No, it's
it has happened.
Where's the leading? Why are they doing it?
Well, they're not getting married. This isn't Don McLean in like a 25-year-old or
no, but it's going to be a thing, right?
No, he's just. I think he was just happy to be able to look at someone as pretty, but not. He doesn't not going to touch him because he knows he's past his prime.
That's not what I mean. But there's a significance in them having an exchange rather than just as a way to end the scene.
It's just
it's going to be a plot C or D level.
They're just fleshing out his character a little more. That's all. Because he's fine.
And it's not. But the thing here, with him having a conversation with the son at the patch.
Oh,
that's the one thing. Even though I liked it, I had mentioned to you before when he figured out his own way of, because he's a smart kid.
Yes.
And he took a chance. He took a risk. What we did not see is how he was able to put that risk together. So when they have this back and forth, the only unfortunate thing that they do in this episode and a little bit here in season 2, which I don't mind it, but it feels a little forced, is that he reads them the riot act about, you're to what you're saying. You don't really have any money. No one's going to write you a check. You're in debt with somebody here that has this sort of thing. There's a priority to some of these things here, so it's going to be up to here before you even start seeing anything. And now da da da. And so as a listener, you're like, oh shit, I get it, and I understand it.
Yeah.
But it's like I didn't feel a sense of urgency because I'm telling you, if I've got a hot woman that I'm with, even when she's I'm a rebound or whatever like that, and he's going all in like he's doing. Even though I hate how that's happening a little bit, especially.
Well, we'll talk about that in a second.
And the money part of it, it's like, to me, I would feel like there'd be a sense of urgency in it, because here's the problem: the adults in the show here, you feel like, oh my god, it's $1 billion company, and she's blah blah blah, and it's like, what is worst case situation? You declare bankruptcy, you do this, that was mentioned, all these things. So it feels like these people are, any day now going to like die or go to jail, and they haven't done anything wrong. So it's either like it's 100% shit, everything's going to die, or there's no big thing to it. There's no in between, and I don't like that because I don't think that's realistic in business.
Well, there is a sense of urgency to get that stuff as far as
they created it in this episode.
Money.
But
Yes. Tommy, and I understand why Tommy's pissed off, because the fact that Cooper was using his name to get people to work for him, and sticking him with the bill. Because they thought they were working for Texaco. They didn't think they were working for, So I'd like, what the heck? And Tommy was basically owed them like, $40,000. And Tommy's like, what the fuck? Cooper, it's like, you're a smart kid, but you're in over your head. And he basically said, this is what you're gonna do. And it's like, and Cooper's like, kind of like, Cooper is kind of is his before this has been first season Cooper. He would have told his dad to shut the fuck up and locked out, stormed off. But this Cooper is actually starting to learn. The only problem I see with this problem is if Cooper becomes a landman for his dad, he's going to take up more hours. He's going to be gone all day.
It's not going to work.
And he goes. Here's the other thing. So in this episode, we see him. He wakes up with Angela. No, it's Angela. What his name is? Ariana.
Mm-hmm.
Ariana, and they're in bed, and she says like, "Well, I'm gonna go myself to the house stuff, She's like, "No, if we're gonna do this, we're gonna do it properly. I'm a Catholic." I'm like, "Well, so you're a Catholic, but you're sleeping with a boy before this, and like, I don't win life."
Exactly. It's like,
I'm like, that was stupid writing. Not really in the end. That's a Taylor Sheridan. He wrote that scene. I don't know why, but whatever. But basically, we put another possible red flag here, because the whole episode literally is Tommy just in his truck driving back and forth dealing with stuff. And not only this, he hears Cooper says like, "Oh, I'm gonna ask Ariana to marry me." He's like, "Are you fucking crazy?" He's like, "No, hold on. Everything else we do fast. The slowest thing you should ever do is wait to get married." He's like, and I like,
that's true.
You see my marriages. Do you see? It's like, but anyway, so Cooper basically was talking to Ariana, and she's basically like, "Well, I want you to get married." He's like, "Well," because Cooper, he talked about in the future having some like kids with her and stuff, and like I'm like, "Damn, Cooper, you're moving really fast."
So it's not worth it.
But then she's like, "Well, I'm serious. I can't do this. Either we're in all the way, feet first on the ground, go get.
I don't get divorced.
I don't get divorced. I don't believe in divorce."
Oh God.
So yeah, she is. I agree with this. That was a little red flag for me too, for that. I don't know if the relationship's gonna last. If it does, it's gonna be a shake relationship. It's gonna be just like his dad's, probably. I'm guessing towards the end. And basically, she doesn't want to. Okay. She wants to get married. So she's like, "Well, I'll go talk." She's like, "We got to go ask my dad." And she basically, I hate this. This is her playing mind games with him.
I agree.
And so he's like, "Well, I gotta go through things, and then call your dad and let him know I head out this way." He lives over on like the coast over there, and he gets there, and it's like a white boy walking into a black neighborhood. Everyone's just gawking at him, which I thought was really like, is this really how it is, or is this like just for Hollywood drawn up? But they're staring at him with a white boy in the truck pickup, and he comes out, and he's got this, and her dad's there. He's on this big old beast guy, muscle bound, guys. I think he was also in Orange is the New Black or something. I've seen some of those other shows, but anyway, he
plays a thug, huh?
Yeah,
I mean, he's not a thug here.
No. His name's Carlos, and honestly, I read about him. The actor originally applied to be at work as a security officer or a police officer or something like that in Florida, and he basically discovered that he liked acting so much, so he basically transferred to acting. And I forgot who it was. It was like some guy and his wife who'd been acting and all stuff. Basically got him into acting. Anyway, but his character here, Carlos, plays the dad. He's sitting down with the family on the porch and standing down there. I felt like I was watching Fast and Furious. Literally.
Oh my God.
And then
sir. I don't know what you ate today, but whatever it is, you write it down and can repeat it tomorrow. Maybe you got a good night's sleep. I don't know.
I've had four hard-boiled eggs. That's what I've had for.
Oh my God, are you intermittent fasting, sir? Some people say that drives your energy up.
No,
I'm joking,
but
yes.
No. But anyway, so he's on there.
It's exactly what it's like.
He's standing on the porch. He's got the big old the dog there, and he's like, "Can I talk to you privately?" He's like, "Okay, well, just say sit down," and like so the guy is, what's your what we want to talk about? It's like, "Oh, I want to ask your blessing for my marry your daughter. I'm in love with her and stuff, and stuff." And the guy's like, "Shit." It's actually, her. I don't control her dream stuff. She has her own dreams. She does what she wants to do. You didn't need to come here and ask me that stuff. That was her. That was a test. Hell, you walking down the road right there was a test, and you passed it for her.
I think, honestly, I'm gonna say it right now. I don't know who this guy is as a father. I'm not saying he's a stud because he's probably got a questionable background. But at the end of the day, he seems like he's trying to do the right thing. And I'm just saying a lot here. I think it matters more to him that this guy came to see him rather than what it means to the person he's trying to marry.
Yeah.
They've written her in a really bad way. That's the worst thing about this season.
And so he says he's been living down there by the basin, because his wife has cancer.
Well, you know what's going to happen? He's probably going to be in charge of all of them working on that, and the father's going to get involved here on the rig that they have to build really quickly now. That's what I'm thinking.
Possibly. But so they basically learn about this. He's like, no, he's like, how would you stay overnight? Because basically it's a long road home anyway, So and he stays for dinner, and he's like, don't worry about the dog. It's like, it's like, I don't believe he's a guns because idiots will mess with you who have a gun, not with a big old dog pit bull, because he knows that she has. That's where she gets the whole dog thing from, the dog growling stuff, the big pit bull or Doberman, whatever. I think it was and he gets up, he's like, oh, and the dog starts growling. He's like, oh, freaking Jesus, scared. I'm like, but one thing that really kind of stuck with me in this episode is the waitress who works at the patch. She goes up and asks, if Tommy, and then Cooper, do you want any breakfast? Tommy gets his normal thing, and Cooper's like, why are you on the gun? He's like, so shit, I'm gonna bring you some biscuits anyway. He's like, and you look like you could a hula hoop with a Cheerio. And I love how Tommy, because Tommy gets called away, he's like, she's right. You eat my breakfast. You look like, and that's not a compliment. You're too skinny. So I love that people are actually commenting on that too. Like, he needs to put on some more weight. I hope the actor does. But then again, he may have a real high metabolism at his age. I don't know.
It's not eating. I mean, and people can say, oh, hard gain or metabolism. That's all bullshit. I don't care how scrawny you are. You need to fucking eat. You need to lift. I'm just being honest with you. I mean, I've seen.
Well, he doesn't lift, and he probably is active. And I don't know if he smokes. There's a lot of people who just smoke who just don't eat.
That's true, because it's an appetite suppressant, that sort of stuff, and all that. You got to fucking eat.
Yeah, and I had a neighbor who would just, because he didn't have back surgery, couldn't afford it, so he'd walk around the neighborhood, but he smoked, and that's how he dealt with the pain.
Well, the interesting thing about him too is that, like, I thought he was an interesting character from the get-go in season 1, and when I went to go watch this episode today in the morning, I noticed that sometimes you get your commercials before they'll play the episode, and they have one. I forget what it was. Maybe it was for a truck or something or whatever like that, right? But okay, it's fine. They're putting these types of commercials that are relevant to the show you're getting ready to watch rather than bullshit ones. And he's in a commercial, and he goes, and he sounds exactly like the character. He goes, I play a Landman on TV, and I'm just an actor in real life. And he's got that little drawl going. And he says, but that's why I really appreciate being around ball. And so I'm like, wow, okay, they're really dialing in and to the nth degree on these kinds of things. But even there, I looked and went, bro, you need to put on 30 pounds minimum. He could do it. He could do it a month or two
Yeah.
easy and not look bad at all.
Yeah.
But I think he's supposed to look that way. I think he's supposed to look like Billy Bob. Billy Bob, we don't pay too much attention to. Except
No,
for
he's
when
skinny just like his dad.
Yeah, but you don't pay too much attention to it because he's older, right? But when you're younger and you're getting married to supposedly a hottie, that thing has just got disaster written all over it. And I thought, that could have been the most hopeful part of Landman, was watching the younger people get right what the parents got wrong. And right now, I don't see that happening the way that they
think what it is right now, you're not really supposed to root for Tommy and all of them. Tommy is the one main character, but it's just like he has enough sense, not getting involved with certain things, but he can't help because he is. And like I said, Tommy can be a good man. This is a bad man trying to become a good man. As we're watching from season 1 into season 2 now. And I said he has so many issues, so many problems. He's starting to. I said, this is Taylor Sheridan setting up Tommy to be having a really, really good. His life's finally getting best. We're great. He didn't fight with his wife at the dinner tonight. They didn't do that. So there's no fighting whatsoever and that stuff. And he's getting good standing with his dad, his son. Life is starting to get a little bit better. But now I think it's all going to be just ripped out from under his feet again. And as I said, this is as a guy, he basically is set up to fail.
Yeah, I just, the adults have almost emotionally gotten a bit more positive despite whatever business issues they have. And the younger people, I thought, were the ones we wanted to watch a struggle because they're the next generation, right?
Yes.
And it was almost a little too nice. So I'm expecting in the next episode things to go sour.
Ainsley hasn't really done much at all this season. It's just been kind of a sore podcast with her mother. That's about it.
Yeah.
Which is kind of interesting because I was like, the first season was her with her boyfriend, or boy toy at the moment, But it seems like, this season she's sworn off boys, booze, and everything. She's becoming a good little girl. She's still kind of dumb, but she's learning things. I liked her interaction with the last episode on the way to funeral. How she's able to, when Nate spoke up, she's like, shh, just quiet, don't say anything. Like she has so much smart. She knows when not to cross her mother.
One of the issues with the C-level group that was kind of an interesting watch for me was when the small team actually, and we don't really know them, we're not that committed to them emotionally.
That's
where
the
they got
thing.
Injured and blind and all that too.
And
it was nice, but it lacked punch to me, and I just feel like it's kind of faltering here a little bit.
So that's the other thing too, is now he just learned about that too with this episode as well. So he has to go visit the guy that gets in the hospital. He's like, he's a father of 2 who's possibly blind, and so it's like all this shit. And then so honestly, I'm looking forward to seeing Cooper working with his dad, because he said after I get back from going to visit down there, we can start and stuff. So I'm seeing, because honestly, I think that's gonna be the most entertaining part of the show, is Cooper having to deal with his dad and his dad trying not to be mad and not to be a dick to him, because he has to explain to him like he's a 5-year-old, but also has respect to me as being that he knows that Cooper is smart. But you're going to see them kind of butting heads a little bit because I have a certain way I do things. Well, that's the wrong way. I love that dynamic. When they have that struggle. The other thing is that So Coop goes off to go visit Ariana's dad. Tommy goes to the patch and has a drink there now. And I love this. He says he's talking to the bartender, and he basically says he's like, oh, this is Troy Aikman's beer. The guy asked me, how's the beer? He's like, well, it's cold. He's like, I mean, well, I had an accident ever since I can't smell or taste anything. He's like, so the guy asked me, he's like, you know what? If that's the taste, then why don't you just drink, fat-free beer or no 0 carbs? He's like, I love the guy's like, you almost got a tip this time, but you say that you couldn't keep your mouth shut. But I like that because they said they introduced because there's a bunch of rich fat cats coming in, so they updated the all these new craft beers. He's like, fucking me, it's a beer. He's like, well, it's like Troikman. He's like,
It's like all
Aikman.
the escorts moving in before the Super Bowl or any big event.
Yeah, he's like,
Right?
I love he says like, well, Aikman, I gotta respect that. He's because he's a cowboy fan.
Bro, how about when he goes into have a meeting with the cartel guy, Andy Garcia, the golf thing you were talking about.
Yeah.
And he's not in a good mood. He's got a bunch of shit going. Okay, and he goes in there and he speaks to. He's not rude. They have a very civil interaction with the secretary out front.
Yeah,
but then he walks in and those two fucking hot women escort him. He's like, oh, how'd y'all know I was going to be here with no, and it's like they say nothing. I'm like, Andy Garcia's got his bitches on point and everyth's working out well. I
said that's why I love this thumbnail. I think this thumbnail works better than the pirate dinner, but I mean, I'm fine with either one.
I hear your argument. Man, the problem here is again, what's the threat? And now Andy Garcia, he's just too good where we're not viewing him not as evil. Competent isn't necessarily
He's
evil.
The devil's
evil
associate.
Is the maliciousness. Kind of, sort of, yeah. It's kind of how I look at it. But if he is the head of the cartel, if he's the head of the snake, as it were, then this whole mystery of the cartel has gone away. Because remember, you've even commented several times. I think it was a valid point. I've totally forgotten about it. You mentioned a few episodes ago. Yeah, we don't really hear much about the cartel at all now.
No, we don't.
The last episode we
know that he deals.
Okay, he's it. Yeah,
he deals with them though. That's the thing though. It's like and here's the thing about cartels. There's always competitors.
Well, I think the cartel is in deep with the group that their hot lawyer that has done absolute jack shit last episode. With those people in that room, the company that's forcing her and them to have a very aggressive schedule before they go suing. I think he's playing both sides of this argument because he can force them to make them hurry up to an unrealistic schedule because he knows he can still take it over, and now he can do it. So this is just genius level 101.
Honestly, yeah, I'm trying to look up the guy's name, the lawyer guy, because the guy just comes off as a douchebag lawyer.
Well, while you're looking that up, I'll sit there and say when we saw the great scene with her early on where she demonstrated her efficiency and all that, whether you call it, she's against the patriarchy or any of that kind of stuff in terms of a strong woman. I don't really give a rat's ass. She was so effective going in there. Said, no, guys, this is what we're doing, and blah, blah, blah. And if you do this, X, Y, Z, and allowed you to take in appreciation of what lawyers will talk about, how they do it. And yes, it's TV.
Yes, Bradley Snedeker plays Robert James in here. And you see this guy in there when he's in there. He is such a smug-looking guy. You know what he reminds you of? Mr. Mayhem. Every time I see his freaking face in this, and he shows up, he's got a smug look on his face. He got humiliated the first time around. Now it's 2 episodes ago, and now they're back, and he's like, oh no, that's the thing, is this, Or do you want us to go take it to court? We'll happily take it to court, and then we'll get you guys in trouble with the DA. And she's like,
"Oh, just didn't have a change of heart without a reason, because they were fucking owned by her. That's how good that scene was.
Yes,
so something's going on in the background here.
Well, information, and travels, and this guy is a cartel. Remember, the information. Whether it's they say they're brokers through anything, he can be. Yes. Everything has a price, so of course.
And like the devil, he'll tell you what he's doing.
Yes,
the snake at the door in the old fable.
This is why
who you are.
That's
why you knew who I was when you invited me.
That's why the 2 girls were there expecting him, waiting for time to come up.
Man,
it makes sense. Yeah, I believe it because I love this because he said that this example right here, the three balls are there. He's playing them. He's like he knows exactly what to do.
Wow. It's that's been a surprise develop to me because you and I both said, I think in season 1, roughly our attitude was similar in that we go, yeah, I get it that the cartel's probably involved and things like that happen, but do we really need it? Just like that we didn't really need the FBI in the last season of Tulsa King.
No.
Or if we do, it can't be that weak of a fucking portrayal, but that's not the actor's
fault. You could do Tulsa King without the FBI and it'd been fun.
Make it quirky, kooky. Yeah, let's do that.
It would have been better because the whole thing with the whole terrorist thing was weak sauce for Tulsa King. We didn't need that. That was just a distraction. And I still have questions about that as far as Frank Grillo's character. I hope he's got. I guess he guys come back next season, but what they need to do here as I want to see. What's the thing with this too? A lot of times you have a henchman who's like the right hand man, loyal. We always saw this in all the Lethal Weapon movies or any of those other. What was it? Tango and Cash. There's always the right hand man who's always like he gets the job done for him because the guy doesn't want to dirty his hands.
That's right.
And this, there is no really right hand man because Andy Garcia doesn't mind getting his hands dirty. He already showed it, and that's what we like. I like a guy who's willing to do things himself. And that's the difference between this show and Tulsa King. Tulsa King had villains who didn't want to do anything. It's always the other guy who did everything for them.
Yeah, Cole. Yeah.
But honestly, I'm glad that the shows are separate because if they both were the same like this, it's I
couldn't watch it.
Like
I couldn't watch it.
No, I'm just saying in general. It's just if you had the Tulsa King's a lighthearted comedy, but you start throwing in serious threats in there, it takes away the comedy. What you could do is turn it into a dark humor, a black comedy like that, But even then, that gets annoying after a while. But this show, always feels like almost like a Mad Men without the filter and stuff, And I love it because we feel John Hamm's presence, even though he's not even in the show anymore, because he's left such a big mess for his wife. But we're also seeing that maybe there's a reason why he married his wife. Maybe, as I said, maybe his wife was not always the innocent person we're led to believe, like Cammy. Maybe Cammy actually said we're showing that she's. Remember, she said, you dealt with my husband, and you thought he was tough. I'm worse. I'm or scary, whatever she said. So honestly, this show is gonna go off the rails a little bit, but I think it'll be a great ending for the season. We're only in episode 5. I did not see the trailer for the next episode, but like I said, we have Cooper working with his dad, Galino getting his hooks and everything. Cammy, pretty much there's a tension between him and her and Tommy. What's TL gonna do? Is TL gonna get involved in more stuff? Or is this gonna be like a side character, but kind of like Nathan, and Dale? But yeah, there's a lot of stuff going on. We're gonna see a lot more Kayla, Rebecca, and Ainsley. I said she's just kind of there as side candy, which is okay. But we all know that every guy watching the show wants more Ainsley.
Well, it's got to mean something. It can't just be cheap and meaningless.
But let's get to this dinner, because Tommy comes home. He sees the door and he says like, "Oh my God!" He's like, "What's going to use that the pirate deck and all that stuff, Chef?" He comes. Here's a Long John Silver's music where we're playing in the back. What was?
I liked it. I thought the final scene here was really
holy. He's like, holy, and he's like, "Holy shit, Rebecca!" She got roped in because remember he said, I'll meet Nate and Rebecca will meet you at home. I'll be there a couple hours. We could finish this conversation. So she got roped into the dinner. And of course we got
you know what another name for pirate treasure is, right? Booty.
Yeah. Here we got Ainsley. I love Sam Stanley. Just kind of sitting there with the other guys, just kind of like the hat on. Doesn't really give a shit. But I love like everything in here. He's like, even when he opens the door, there's like a treasure chest pops up, and he's like, it's got like
the beer. Gold. It's the beer and the gold. The door.
Yeah,
the ghost, the hand on it like that from Holly. No, this was good. She does so good with this, and it's from a place of love, which is good because we don't normally have it. And I told you episodes ago they can't milk this all the time and have it be. No. But I'm looking forward to another one.
Yeah.
And this was quick, actually. Even though we got some great shots that you're showing, I'm looking at it going, wait a minute. It's such a great touch, and the fact that she can do this is tremendous. And bringing it home and remember, this could be her father-in-law again, I guess, maybe a future one or whatever you want to call it, because they've kind of quieted that down for the past few episodes.
I love the fact that said that it's just right there. This is a man who's at his highest. He's having a good life now. His life's getting better.
Yeah. So expect more fuckery in the next episode.
Oh, the next couple episodes, it's gonna go downhill.
Yeah.
I don't think Sam Elliott's going to have a heart attack, but I think this one's going to happen where eventually he will get so close to his dad and something might happen. And he's like, oh shit, but overall,
final thought is this. I think the
yeah,
cartel's got a plant inside the group because you got to be able to
yeah.
get information. He has a plant inside the what I'm going to call the boardroom group, the one that hot lawyer here has to mess with and all that. That's good shit.
I think it probably is the guy she hooked up with. I still believe that he has to have some kind of part in this.
You mentioned that, and I don't want to think about how horrible he was, but I was so turned off by how this guy was. It's probably true. So let's see what happens with that. I don't think it was a one-off, but we'll see.
No, because he might be the brother of he might be the brother-in-law of Galeno.
Well, all those people on the plane were going to the same place she was, and it was a small private one that only certain people get to have access to. Remember how you talked about the logisticals of the unique
private plane, and I'm not sure if it was owned by his company or if it was only the company members from Tommy's company could be on there, or if
I think it was something along those lines.
Yeah.
We have exclusive use to this here. We just need to know the people so we can get them on the manifest. They still do all those kinds of things. It's just not open to the public. So yeah, that means when the guy said, "Yeah, I work in the fields," I told you he looked too pretty. His hands are too prissy. He had that horrible accent.
So,
that implies an educated man. So to me, that means he was probably like a Landman himself.
Do you think that guy that she hooked up with maybe is the reason he sabotaged that place where the gas leak is?
That's what I was wondering. I'm just wondering if he's the guy behind all that because his physical and acting demeanor did not match.
I still think that guy that was in the truck who apparently committed suicide in the gas in there, I still think he was murdered.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely. I agree with you.
Yeah. Yeah. And then, so, of course, Gabriel G. Rodriguez is was Carlos, her father, Ariana's father. And then you have Robyn Lively, who plays Ellie. So, she's the waitress. Final thoughts. I said, this is a really good show. If you are not watching this show, you are missing out, and probably one of the best shows on television right now. And there's only one more thing I gotta say. Tommy and his dad have a conversation because his dad's bored. Do you know where I'm going, right?
Keep going.
So Tommy's like, "Well, what you got TV?" He's like, "Turn on the View." It's like, it's like, "What the fuck's a View?" It's a bunch of old rich women complaining about other rich dudes that don't give two shits about them. It's all feminist bullshit. He's like, "Why the fuck would I want to watch that? No one watches that, Dad." That's the point.
You get a couple clips in each of these episodes straight from him, and I think that's what solidifies the show compared to some of the other ones where they don't do
viral. That went viral. That clip, everything.
Oh
yeah.
I'm not a big social media guy. I know you're into it more than I am.
On Twitter, it was all over Twitter. People were pissed off. Whoopi Goldberg was pissed off, and all them. So I was like, well, what do you say that wasn't true?
Yeah, whatever.
Yeah, it's
That is hell not going to take it anymore, sir.
Yeah, rich old people who liberals who have problems with another rich guy, and it's just like, okay, you're rich. No one gives a shit about you. If you're poor, maybe would give 2 cents about you, complain about problems. But you're a rich person. What problems do you have? So I thought that's kind of so. If you have to check out this show, it's on Paramount Plus. And it is a very fun show. Both first season and second season are on there right now. It drops every Sunday night, or actually, is it Sunday morning? Is it drop Sunday like Disney Plus? Is like Sunday in the morning?
I never looked until the evening, so I don't know.
Yeah, because that's what I think. I usually see it in the evening, but every Sunday, and it's just a fantastic show. Billy Bob Thornton, I always love him since Bad Santa. Sam Elliott since Roadhouse and just on the Ranch was a show. It was really popular in the before. I love his clips on that show. Sam Elliott, the biggest liberal you know, but you don't know because unless you pay attention to him outside of his acting, you don't really see it in his acting. Everything he chooses, everything, and that's what I love about this. You can with some of these actors, I respect them because you can believe something in or your politics, whatever. But at the end of the day, you put that aside because it doesn't matter if you're playing conservative or liberal. You are doing a job.
Yeah,
and that's what I like about these shows. But yeah, so check that out. And then this Sunday runs 7 p.m. Eastern. Not sure, probably another Christmas movie. Probably.
Absolutely, another Christmas movie to round off the season. No question about it.
All right. And which movie will we pick that Rob won't like?
Maybe we'll pick. You know what? My vote's for
What's that?
Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer.
I thought you want Eric to
Rankin
watch
Bass.
with us.
I think it's absolutely tremendous. I think it's a tremendous one. It's one of the best Christmas ones out there.
We did that last year, and
I
I don't
review it every year, just like Charlie Brown.
Oh my gosh, Charlie Brown! I do Charlie Brown every year. Well, stay tuned, subscribe, do all that fun stuff. If you haven't clicked like, do all that fun, and check us out on our past review stuff. We did Tulsa King, we did Reacher, 2 seasons of that. I think we did at least 2 or 3.
Columbo, Twin Peaks. I mean,
Forever Night. I guess there's some love for that. People want more Forever Night. Hannibal.
Season 2's coming. Hannibal, we're finishing up now. Yep, season 1.
Yeah. So a lot of stuff, and then we got follow coming up too after this, and then possibly going into Miami Vice.
Miami Nights. I'm looking forward to it. So
yeah, Miami Nights. Yes. All right.
Everybody have a good night.
Later, guys. You know what we should do? Miami Vice. I should air those at Friday nights at 10 p.m.
I agree.
Right. Later, guys.